Hi, I'm Adam Bink, and this is my testimony. I went to a hockey game, the Buffalo Sabres versus the Philadelphia Flyers. It's the first round of the playoffs. This was in April 2011, and it was in Philadelphia. And I went wearing Sabres gear with two straight friends of mine who were also from Buffalo. And we knew that Philadelphia had a reputation for being a pretty rough sports town, but nothing really prepared us for the level of abuse that we received. Um, Even more striking was the level of verbal, homophobic, anti-gay abuse that we received. From the moment we sat down before the game even started, the word fag was hurled in our direction. And from then on, it was various variations of that word, faggot, faggy, other nasty slurs that were hurled at us. By some time in the middle of the first period, we stopped counting at 26 for the number of times we were called that name. 26 in the first period alone. And the guys behind us who were shouting these things at us, would make other comments. They call, they'd say about Ryan Miller, who was the Sabres starting goaltender. They'd say, I heard Ryan Miller is a fag. I heard he likes guys. They'd say, I heard Buffalo's more fag bars than straight bars. Is that true? They'd make all kinds of other nasty comments about whether we were there as in a three-way relationship, even though my two friends were straight, and they never asked if they were straight or gay. And it just continued from then on. Just kind of started to roll, over our shoulders as the game went on. But it still just made me kind of sit still, and I kind of had to work not to respond. At some point during the game, he started making Canadian jokes. He'd say things like, go back to Canada. Buffalo should be part of Canada. I hope Canada annexes Buffalo." And he'd make remarks like that for a while until a guy next to him in a Flyers jersey turned to him and said, my wife and I are from Canada, and so are most of the players on the ice. And everyone got a good laugh, and the jerk, he said, "Oh, I got no ammo left now." Well, he did have ammo left. He just kept shouting "fag this" and "fag that" the rest of the game. And I was just struck by how, someone stood up for himself and for other people based on, that he was Canadian. And if we were black and he shouted "nigger" at us, or if he knew we were Jewish and he shouted "kike" at us, people would probably take that seriously, and they might say that's not cool. He might even get thrown out. But not a single person in the arena, in our entire section, heard heard what was going on and responded. They all could tell, who was being directed at. They all could hear it, but they never actually stood up for us. And it just made me realize that, it's the year 2011. 5 states in D.C. Allow same-sex couples to be married, and there are laws banning discrimination, but there's no law banning this kind of abuse in this kind of venue, and there's no community to stick up for you when you most need it. And it just made me realize we're at a point where we're not quite that far where people stand up for each other, even if it means, getting retaliated against, physical, verbal abuse hurled at you. Um, in a venue like that, we just have a long way to go, and it's like that in other places. It's like that at Bills football games. It's like that at other venues. Um, it's starting to change in sports. Kobe Bryant calls a ref a fag, and he's reprimanded. Same thing with Joakim Noah, the Chicago Bulls. But in the community, it's a little bit different, and um, it just makes me think that if we're ever going to change that kind of culture, we have to stand up for each other, especially if we're straight, but including the whole community, LGBT and straight, and say, I have friends who are gay, I have family members who are gay, people I work with who are gay, and this isn't acceptable. So stop it. Um, and hopefully we'll get to that point. But until then, it's still pretty hard to be gay um, and live or work or go to a fun sporting event and enjoy yourself when that kind of abuse happens. I'm Adam, and this is my testimony.